Hi all, well I'm delighted to introduce to you here at Sax another new product in the form of this, the SaxArm. Now just to take it back a little bit, this was formerly a product that was on a much larger scale known as the Sax Seat. The same company produced something that looks rather like this, but it was attached to essentially a drum stool or a drum throne. Now the same company have now produced this thing, the SaxArm. They've streamlined the whole thing. They've got rid of the drum stool and decided that that was far too bulky. It created issues with shipping out very heavy items. It was a lot more expense for you guys. And now the fact that we have this much more streamlined, sleek product in the form of this SaxArm, I think it's going to be more of an exciting proposition for you. So just to explain what it is in brief, it is essentially a saxophone support system. So I'll just briefly demonstrate here. I've got an alto saxophone. I can simply place the saxophone on this support pad here, which I've set up beforehand to be about the right height for me playing an alto saxophone in front of me. Let's just test it out and try a couple of notes. Yep, that basically works very nicely. And I could easily imagine myself having a nice, satisfying practice session on this, because the idea is this thing is fully adjustable. So we've got adjustment points down here, 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 which I will show you in more detail in a second. But you can see the basic notion that this sits nicely in front of me. It's really solid. As I push on that, there's no give there. So we have set it up perfectly to practice on. The SaxArm scales up nicely for all of the saxophone instruments as well. We're talking baritone, tenor, soprano, alto. I think they even advertise it as being useful for a tuba as well, but we don't get interested in that stuff here at Sax. So as I swing the SaxArm to the right, because up to now it's been set up in a nice central position which has worked perfectly for playing the alto sax, but many of us like to play our tenor saxes and baritone saxes off to the right, as in this position here. So to me that looks pretty good, probably a little bit high for tenor. We would just need to move it down the leg here to get the right position for those larger instruments. But now let's just zone in on the different details of the product, starting with the pad here. I have to say, I've really been enjoying the quality of the pad. As I run my fingers up and down, I get these nice kind of swishy shapes that you get on a kind of velvet piece, as it were. So that's very nice. Very childish, I know, but it's always nice to have quality components and things that make us smile when we buy a new product. And certainly this bit makes me smile. It feels solid and it feels like it's going to support the saxophone very well. And that is attached to this mechanism here, which is fully adjustable, so we can change the angle there. All very solid componentry, I have to say. It's been very well put together. That then attaches into this extended arm here, which has 8 adjustment points in order to adjust the distance that the SaxArm is in terms of how close or far away it is from our body. We've got further adjustment point here. Plenty of adjustment overall, which is what we like to see. And then crucially, this really strong clamp here, which in this case is clamping very nicely to this square leg on this chair. And as I just take it off to show you how this works, you can see that swings away. We have this neat mechanism whereby this is permanently attached here, but if we want to change the adjustment, we simply undo this lever here, freeze it up, and then we move it into position onto the leg of the chair. Now finally, I just wanted to show you the SaxArm on a different chair, or in this case, a stool. So on this occasion, we've got round legs, and it's clamping perfectly onto a round leg. Because the idea of this is this SaxArm is shipped as it is. It doesn't come with a stool, as mentioned before. So you are relying on whatever you've got in your house. And I would say that in most households, you should have something that will accommodate this new SaxArm. So we've got a nice stool here, which is perfect for if you're doing a gig with Westlife or something like that. And as you can see, it is working very nicely. I've got the sax set up almost at the right height. And I feel like I could do a pretty good practice session or gig with, well, Westlife perhaps. Now, these, I think they're really great. I love the design. I didn't like the clunkiness of it before because we had the whole sax seat thing going on, and it was almost just too much. That the boxes were really big and cumbersome. It was a great product, but it's far improved by being in this more sort of compact version, as it were. The price has been slashed to about half the price, the fact that we've got rid of the drum stool, and it is just the SaxArm, and I just love the flexibility of it. So for those of you looking for much more comfortable practice sessions or even performance sessions, I think this could be a really great product, and we now have them here in stock at Sax.